Hi guys, it's Aegis here. So today I'm here with another standard deck profile, and this time I'll be covering Rorowa. So this will be like basically the final one that I need to do before the new set release. And with Rorowa, seriously, I have taken so many weeks. You have not seen me posting anything about Rorowa like for quite a long time, and it's because I'm so struggling to actually make this deck a lot better even with the promo. uh, so do know that this deck profile will be using the promo, and that's how we can actually get the deck to be better. uh, we do have new support, we do have some new cards, but I actually need to find uh, better ways to use different cards to make it a lot more uh, I would say playable. The deck itself, if you're just using new cards, using what included, of course you can play a normal game, but the deck itself is really not like very special. For example, with Eva, with Order, you have good protection. You get like to keep rotating your cards. Then you can actually stay for a longer game. With, for example, Tamayura, you get more cards that help you search the key pieces on the right timing, of course, in order to do that. But for Rorowa, unfortunately, you didn't get any like extremely good support to turn it from a normal deck to a stronger deck, because what we have updated is from a normal deck to a slightly better normal deck. Um, I really hate to just like kind of saying bad things for specific right lines or specific nations, especially Slovakia is the nations that I always love to focus a lot more on possibilities, and the Rorowa support cards can actually help a lot of decks to uh, make them better. But Rorowa itself is really just a hard take, so do keep that in mind that this is a deck that I think is more comfortable. But if you are asking me if this deck is good enough to take in a tournament and win you games, like go to the top table, I would say no. Seriously, yeah. I rather to be honest with you than just like trying to like keep promoting it is such a good deck and then you take it out and play and you had a bad day. I don't want you to have that. I rather you know that this is deck that is playable, can sometimes win you games, and then uh, it's not that expensive with the promo compared to other glitter. And if you like Rorowa, I think you can give this build a try and see if you like it. Yeah. So let's go into the profile first. Uh, the right line, I'm still using the Rorowa right line because plan tokens is very important here. I can't afford to actually switch to something else, um, because without the plan token, without some early rushing mechanics, especially when you can't search your Renalina in early stage, you really need the plan tokens to be there to at least help you to build a board to do 3 swings or at least 2 swings per turn, uh, in order to just get the pressure in so that your opponents will need to start guarding early, or the flow will just be directed by you. So it is possible, but you really need to work hard to make it happen. So the great one, in case people don't know the skill, when you run on top on the Great Zero, you get a plan token behind the Vanguard Circle, and this will pop one Regard to generate two plan tokens. And with Great Rorowa, you can soul last one to get up to 3 plan tokens out of the field, and whenever this card get attacked, it's not once per turn, you can retire any number of token units. Then for each retire for the battle, you get plus 5k. So plan tokens can also be kind of your 5k shield. So it's very good defensively, but you still need to do something after you survive, right? So what we are looking to go for is using cards that helps you to not just surviving, but after the survival, what can you do? Now go to the main deck. 3 more Roa for personal riding, for more souls to use, because souls is very important, and believe it or not, this deck use so much soul. Because say you need to soul blast 1 for generating plant tokens. With the grade 2 Red Alina, you need to soul blast in order to do the 4th attack. When you use other cards that I will be explaining in a bit, you will also be using souls. So it's really important, and without personal right, a lot of your attacks are usually less than 15k. Usually. Without any specific boosts or anything, usually they're around 15k, so that's not quite big. That's why you do need the personal right to actually give you the rush. And since we all know Momoke will attack from the back row, and you always want to pump the Momoke, so a little spoiler that I will not be using any front triggers, because even though the front triggers can support the front units, but it won't support Momoke, and if your Momoke is not big enough, there's a lot of things in this deck that you can't do, so that is the case. And then I'm running 2 of the new grade 3 Red Alina, so you can see I'm only cutting this card down to 2 for quite a bit of reasons, but let's talk about her skill. First is a Riga Circle skill. When it is the start of your main phase, if you don't have a Momoke token, you can call up to 1 Momoke token. So she is, after using her second skill, then you will be needing Momoke, and this card will generate the Momoke for you. And the second skill is in hand, and then when a Red Alina unit attack battle ends, if your opponent is grade 3 or higher Vanguard, you can retire a Red Alina unit, Regard, and a Momoke token. You need to retire both of them, 1 of each, and then you can call this card to Riga Circle during the turn. This card will gain the power from the Momoke that you retire as a cost. So if you pump a Momoke to be a very, very big one, all those power will just go to your grade 3 Red Alina, right? So this generates the 5th attack, and it's possible to do something big. But why I am cutting this card to 2? There's a lot of reasons. 1, it is a grade 3 card. You don't have shield value. I tried it 4, and I just feel so bad about it, because you don't always get to swing so much times. And then do remember, this card will eat up your Momoke token, and if you are not having the grade 2 to actually generate the Momoke for you during the main phase, you need to let her survive for a whole turn during your opponent's turn, and then go back to your turn, start the main phase, you generate your Momoke token. And what happens to me most of the time? She gets retired. She gets mined, she gets sent to the bottom of the deck, bounce to the hand, anything that you can think of, and then I have this card in my hand. I don't have any grade 2 Red Alina, and I don't have a Momoke token. I can just put her out as a 30k attacker. I do nothing, right? So, and even if she gets attacked, you usually don't have a lot of resources to actually protect her, because like for Rorowa skill, it only activates when Rorowa is being attacked. So you can use the tokens to actually protect your Red Alina. So if your opponent is hitting you for 33k, are you going to give up a 25k shields value total to actually save her? You sometimes don't even have that much, because you need to rely on the plant tokens to actually get you to that number, right? So there's a lot of reasons that I can't run 4 of her. She is good when you are like going in for pushing for games, pushing opponents to 5 damage at least, then she will be useful. And since we have orders to actually search this card, and she will not be any use to you until your opponent is grade 3. So even when you ride first, you go all your Red Alina play, you just can't use this card because your opponent is not grade 3 yet. So no matter what, you can't fully utilize her while your opponent is still grade 2 or less, while you don't have a grade 2 Redolina, while you don't have Momoke token. There's so many limitations, so I'm only putting her to 2. Sadly, that she is actually a very good support for the deck, but there's so many negative side of this card that I actually need to cut. Yeah. And another card that I never thought of actually using is the Prison Dragon. Now, what Prison Dragon does is usually just trying to make you play a little bit more order cards, bring this card back from the drop, and plus 10k. That's all you do. You don't plus crit, usually, unless you don't have any Redolina, but you have a Momoke token and you have a lot of stuff to eat. Then you eat all of them and boost your Prison Dragon. Then you can consider to +1 crit to actually be a little bit more scary, but usually you go for the power. And the reason I'm running Prison Dragon is because it is a card that I can simply just put to the drop zone for a right deck, for any kind of discarding cost, for feeding my Momoke without any thoughts. So I'm using this card. And do think about this. What Prison Dragon good is, it can just simply reborn himself from the drop as long as you play an order. And like, you have plant tokens, but they are just 5k each, and you can only make a 10k line. But if you just simply play an order that can but normal order of course, then you can reborn units, you can increase drop and call other units, you have so many things that you can do, or even just select a unit that gain power and then pop this out when you have nothing on the field, or maybe just one unit on the field, and this can make you free attacks, right? So Prison Dragon still find its place in this deck, which I am glad to actually be able to use this card. It didn't comes up so many times during my playtest because I only running 2, and sometimes it just goes to the damage, but it's a good card for you to just without thought to counter last 4, and then when you heal, you just put it into the drop, and then you reuse it, right? And then one of the full-blown dragon. So this is new support from the set. It's just a common, but it is so good that during the end of your turn, if your Vanguard is a glitter, so basically a Rorowa, you can put this card into your soul, and by doing that, you can call up to 2 plant tokens onto your regular circles. So you attack with this card, and then during end phase, you increase your soul by 1 by putting this card into soul, and you generate 2 plant tokens that will likely be your 10k shields. So it's a very good card, and I usually suggest people to run 1 to 2 if you are playing a Rorowa build, which is actually helping you to survive while having a little bit more attack. Because with this deck, once you run out of resources, you need to find some ways to actually gain them back. If you can't get another copy the person right, you don't have the souls, and you don't have the souls, you don't have the plant tokens. But this card, at least, it gives you both. It gives you the soul, it gives you 2 plant tokens, and it's a 30k attacker that at least being able to hit something. So it's a very good card, but again, it's a grade 3 card, so you can see that the grade 3 lineup is your personal rights, with 4 of them being 2 changed to Prison Dragon that I think is more useful, and then 1 of the full-blown dragon. Right. Entering grade 2s, 4 of the Redolina. She's still the best card for your deck, not the grade 3 one, but the grade 2 one, because she simply generates the 4 attacks with good value, without changing a lot for your board. A good bait for being attacked or being targeted, just so helpful. And she can simply give you a Momoke token whenever you want. basically, as long as you have one counterblast, which is way better than the graveyard one because you don't need to wait for any specific timing. As long as it's during your turn, during your main phase, you can get a mobile kit token out without any thoughts. And you can even like have a mobile kit token and then like eats up a lot of stuff, and then you bring her back. Or you have your mobile kit token, you need to play your graveyard order, you pop the mobile kit token, and then you counterblast one and get a mobile kit back, right? So this card actually makes the deck a lot more flexible, but at the same time it's also the biggest weak point of the deck, because if you don't see her at all, you will lose. 100% you will lose, because I have faced like the most worst situation that 3 of these is in the damage, and the 4th one gets bind by the Eva research order, and then I don't see heal at all, and it's just so depressed. I have to say, it's just so depressed. And you can't search this card early game, which is a bad thing, because you do actually need her in the grade 2 ride so that you can start punching hard, rushing, and apply pressure to your opponent. But you don't have any way of searching this card. You have nothing. So you just need to hope yourself to actually get at least one copy in your hand, from your opening 5, from your mulligan, from your 2 draws, or 3 maybe. Right, so you can see this card is being very important, and if you don't see her, you basically just get the sign that you have to lose this match. Just even though sometimes with plant tokens you can somehow still manage to do some stuff, but she's just that important. So I have room to cut these, but I will not cut the grade 2 Redalina at all. Okay, so next, 2 of the Propolin Refillers. So this is another plant token generation card. We use a lot of Soul Blast, but we don't actually use that much of Counter Blast. This will use, so far that's all. Right, so you do have a lot of Counter Blast space to use for generating plant tokens, which can be good support, good shield value that helps you to survive, or more cards, more units for mobile K to actually eat. So I still see this card being important, and because she's only at 9k, you do need a plant token to make her 40k in order to hit something, right? And then the Blooming Panto Carophilus. So this is a very good card for Rorowa because we always lack souls, and this card will just generate 2 souls for you as long as you don't have any. I do want to like kind of put her into the right deck, so I have a way to actually bring her out, but being able to rush with Redalina is more important than seeking for soul charging. So I'm only running 1 and in the main deck, not in the right deck. If she comes, she comes. If she didn't, you just need to manage your results as well. And this card, what good is, as long as you have 1 soul, you can use the new order to bring her back, and then you soul charge 2. Which is basically the same with spiritual body condensation. Yeah, so that's basically it, and it's important to actually have this card at least 1 copy. I don't have much space for her, even though I didn't want to run more, but as long as you have souls, this card will have no value to you because you can't soul charge, so I can't actually use a lot. So but I have to say she's still very important for the deck, and that's why she's here. And 2 of the very great ones, which is also a new card from the set, that with a skill that if this card is retired by your card effects for the Rigard circle. If your Vanguard is a glitter, you can choose one of your grade 1 lower Rigard. For a turn, you get plus 10k. So basically, you hit it with Momo K, then your Momo K will at least get 5k. Depending if you eat more, then you get more 5ks, and then you get a 10k from there. So your Momo K can hit hard, which brings your Redalinas to actually hit a lot higher. But most of the time, you will have your Riga circles filtered by plant tokens, so you don't actually have chances to like keep playing this card while keeping this card on the field. So I'm only running 2. You just need to do it once or twice, and you get ways to actually reborn this card, so you don't need to worry about that too much. That's why I think 2 is good enough. If you really want to run 4, then you really need to find some space for even like cutting the Prison Dragons, which I am trying to like avoid, or there are more cards that you can actually do to turn it to a more standardized Rorowa deck, but I don't think it's a good way. Next, I'm running only 3 PGs, and I'm not running any auto PG. That's all the PG you see, because I'm playing a faster game. I need space for more cards, so I'm only cutting PGs to 3. So far, it's good enough. The only moment that hurts me the most is seeing over trigger, but that is something that you cannot like foresee, so I'd rather just not care about that part and just focus on what the deck can do better on, and just putting cards that actually help that. Okay, now entering the order cards finally. First, 4 of the Rorowa order. This card is a grade 3 order. When I see this card, I'm like basically crying, like why it can't be a grade 2 order. Because your main attacker, grade 2 Redalina, is a grade 2, and you can only search it when you get to grade 3. You are 1 turn late, basically. But this card, at least you can search your Redalina unit from your deck, right? And that is just so important that you can find the next copy to use. You can find your combo pieces. Now you have a maximum 8, and including this 4, you are basically going for, in here you have 10 Redalinas for you to get to your hand, basically. But it's a set order, so it will not activate Prison Dragon, and you need to counterblast 1 to and retire one of your Regard in order to use it. So you can see why I need so many plant tokens to at least be sacrificed for actually using this card. So yeah. And once you have this card on your order zone, all your back row token units will get plus 5k. The more you have, the more 5ks you gain. And then you keep getting your Redaninas for like different attacking plans, then you just do whatever you need, right? So in the end, it's still an important card to the deck, but my only complaint to this card is why can't it be a grade 2 order, then it can make Rorowa deck so much better. Like, by all means, so much better. But it has to be a grade 3, and we just need to live with it. Yeah, so that's there. One of the Tier 4 manas for Soul In, for counter charge, and you do have plant tokens to retire to actually use this card, and it's a free card. You use as long as you have 2 regards. They can at least bring a Prison Dragon back, right? And since this card goes to your soul, you can soul blast 1 to call 3 plant tokens to at least have 2 plant tokens stay on one line, 1 plant tokens boosting a 15k Prison Dragon. That at least is something, right? So and then if you have these, then your plant tokens can be stronger in the back row. Yeah, that's basically it. And again, soul is very important, so I'm trying to find something that works, that adds in more soul and can actually bring some value to the deck. And then for the stage order, so these are just normal orders, And what you need to do with this card is you have a Rorowa Vanguard. You can Soul Blast 1 to play this, to drop to call a unit that has a grade same or lower than your Vanguard. Call to radar circle, and if you have a Redlina unit on the field, you gain a free plant token. So it doesn't get the 5k like spiritual body condensation, but at least you get the plant tokens, which is kind of getting the 5k back. And if you have this order already set, then that plant token will be a 10k. And if you have more plant tokens, means you have more things for Momoke to eat before you set up your board again, or even you can just Soul Blast, call a Redlina, call a plant token, call a Momoke token, and then just use that board to fight. That is also something that you can do, and because it's a normal order, then you can actually activate your Precision Dragon drop to bring it back to help you do more attacks, right? So yeah. And then I'm also running this new order. This is from BD6, but it's still kind of new. It's an order that you counterblast 1, draw 1 card, and then you look at the top card of the deck, you can put it to drop, or put it back to the top. So this is first is a drawing card, and we have so many counterblasts to use, as I said when I talk about this flower girl. So you do have resources to actually do that. You change this card into something, and then it could be a Prison Dragon on the top of the deck. You just ditch it. Of course, you can bring the Prison Dragon back, but at least you can dodge something. And if it is trigger, then you can just put it on top, apply pressure to your opponent while doing 4 attacks. Then you can try to play mind games with your opponent to let them think it will be a crit, will be an over trigger, or it's actually a heal that you pretend it to be a critical trigger. There's not so much mind games that you can do with this card, but I don't have much space, and I do need to focus on getting Redlina to work, so that's why you can see it as this kind of lineup. And then to triggers, Stoic over trigger, because you can just gain crit, you can gain front, you get to heal, you get to draw, and then just the normal over trigger 100 million you just put to Momoke and apply to Redlina and just keep swinging for a lot of stuff. The generic one also works, but I rather have a chance to increase the crit, so my opponents would just be scary to see it like another crit, because that won't let them simply just say no guard at 4, because everything can happen, right? So that's still a better option. And then crits, you just put whatever crits you want in here. What I play is 7 crits and then 4 10k draws. That is important. And then heals are up to you. With my lineup, I'm using this because a lot of my friends are using cards that will likely be attacking more than one time, so this is more effective to me. But you can just simply turn it to a normal heal trigger that will be fine. Crits, I usually just use them for guarding, so even sowing crit won't have a chance to actually go into soul. But if you do have 4, feel free to chuck them in, because sometimes again we are lacking souls, but at the same time we are lacking a lot of shield value. So if you do have the space to use 4, feel free to. Sometimes you might just put her into soul and this can actually save you, maybe. But with the game speed, with the guarding actions that I did when I play test with this deck, usually don't have that leisure to put this card down, but at least you can use your order card to bring her back, so it can get you back the soul that you sold last. So it's still something, right? And the 10k draws is important because I'm not using any fronts, as explained before, that I want to put a lot more power on my Momoke token, so I need cards that don't just give power to the front row, and I have to use the 10k draws. Of course, drawing is also important because we always need to find our red liner as soon as possible, or even the order so that we can find red liner as soon as possible. So here comes the 4 draws, and it's a better shield value draw, and at least because we have plant tokens, so it's kind of easier for you to get another 15k shield if you want to. You just this and then another plant token, so still better than 5k. Yeah, that's basically the reason I'm using this kind of trigger lineup, and there we go. Yeah, so I think I've basically explained everything I need to say about this deck for sure, and it's a little bit longer video than usual because there's a lot of things that explain why I am having this number, why I'm using this card, and of course a little bit complain on why we can't get some better support for this deck, because this deck actually has a lot of potential to be good, but we just don't get the good quality of support that we kind of get there, but we are still lacking something. The Grade 3 order is just the best example of what we are lacking. What we are lacking is not a Grade 3 order that search for a red liner. What we are lacking is a Grade 2 order that can allow us to search red liner and do early rush. Then at least we can see a lot more Rorowa being able to play and actually goes to top, because you get to do your actions on time, or at least have a better chance to do it on time, right? But yeah, do let me know if you try this deck out, your thoughts on this, your thoughts on Rorowa support. Comments down below, let me know. If like this video, do give it a like, subscribe for more deck profiles, deck fights, unboxings, news that is coming up, and I will be doing unboxing very soon, so do stay tuned for that. And then there will be a lot more new decks, more deck profiles, more deck fights coming out, so subscribe, stay tuned, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.